Well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. To all the boys and girls, men and women, theys and thems, and whatever else I suppose you want to go by now in this time of love. But given that everyone can be in love with anyone, I thought this would be a good time to present to you Love Potion number 9.
She's got a pad on 34th and Vine, selling little bottles of.
Nah, not my boys from the Clovers. The film Love Potion number 9. It is just a fun, great, unapologetically modest romantic comedy from the early 90s, 92 actually, the year after I was born. And it could never be made again. There's no way. If they were to remake it, it would be weird and probably over-sexualized and awkward. You know, the way this film deals with love, sex, relationships, romance, rejection, even just plain obsession, it's just pretty solid, and I don't think it could ever be replicated again. But the film follows Tate Donovan and Sandra Bullock as Paul and Diane, and they're these, scientists that aren't doing very well in the realm of love. And Paul himself is like, he lives alone and just kind of nerdy and a little too uptight for himself. And Diane also lives alone, but she has this long-term boyfriend that she had for a while, but he just doesn't really care about her. He just kind of comes over to have sex and just then leaves and hangs out with all these other women and just doesn't really care about her because she's so, like, I don't know, I guess she's kind of worthless in his eyes, but I don't know, he's good enough to sleep with. Again, the way that they're treated, it's like, no woman would ever be like that today. No woman would be like, oh, I'm just gonna, well, I mean, I guess they would. If she was nerdy enough, I guess she would be like, oh, okay, well, I have this really hot guy. I just want to keep this guy. So I guess it does kind of make sense, but it is also very like, come on, girl, whatever. So anyway, Paul, he goes to this bar, goes out with his friends, and he sees this chick, and he tries to hit on her, and he just gets shut down. I mean, my boy gets like roasted by this chick on sight, and he just feels super down and out. So, to cheer him up, his boy's like, hey, dog, we got you. We're going to take you to the I'm just kidding. To the palm reader. They're going to take him to a mystic. Like, what the fuck? Hey, friends are friends, right? What are friends for? But they go to this mystic, Madame Ruth, this palm reader, and she goes ahead and reads Paul's palm and finds out that he has no love in his future. And, he's like, what? Like, she's like, yep, no women, no love, no nothing. And he's like, the fuck? Well, I don't want that, so she goes, all right, I will help you. And she opens up this like crazy ass cabinet that, of course, this random witch granny, possibly hippie fairy godmother would have, and pulls out Love Potion number 8. And Love Potion number 8, I know you're like, what about 9? No, Love Potion number 8. And Love Potion number 8, apparently when you smell it or when you sense it, whoever senses, like, it's like a perfume, whoever senses it will fall madly in love with you and be utterly attracted to you and like sexually attracted to you. And he's like, what? Like, all right, I don't believe you, but let me try this out. So he takes like a sample, and it ends up working. And he can't believe it. It's like, it's magic. It just makes people want to fall in love with you. And so he takes it to Diane, and they end up like doing this weird little science montage because she doesn't believe him, of course. And they end up figuring out like the scientific properties. I don't fucking know how. And they end up creating like 2 extra vials, and they split it between each other. And they're like, all right, we're going to do these trials and see if it works. And they go out and see, how they can react and how the opposite sex will react to them, with this spray or whatever. And of course, with Paul, he gets cold feet almost every time. I mean, he never actually sleeps with any women. He doesn't use it really. He totally kind of ends up getting the shitty end of the stick. And then Sandra Bullock, being Sandra Bullock, she dresses up as this nerdy chick, Diane and everything. And I mean, she really plays the role of a nerdy girl. It's great. Sandra Bullock is just the best. But Diane uses it, and she ends up meeting like the most nicest guys because of how modest and like how genuinely nice and not soft and loving of a person she is. But because of the way she looks, her boyfriend doesn't give her the time of day, and most people don't give her the time of day. But now all these, high profile people and like random guys are talking to her, and, she's actually feeling more confident and like, wow, like maybe I'm not as worthless as I am. Whereas Paul is kind of realizing that like, hey, maybe like I'm not like trying to just find a woman. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Like maybe I'm not like in love with anyone. And then he realizes that actually like, those 90s twists. You gotta love the 90s. He's in love with Diane. Like, they actually work together, and, he knows about her relationship stuff, and he's always felt bad for her. And I mean, all of us dudes can say we've been there, and probably some of us women, where we have that friend that we have a crush on who's with some jerk, and we just hate the fact that they're with the jerk, and we can't do anything about it because it's their life, and like, but we wish magic can intervene. And that's kind of what's going on here, right? So, Paul goes to confess his love to Diane, and he finds out that Diane is actually like kind of head over heels for her boyfriend now. Like she was going out she was telling him over the phone that she was seeing all these random guys, and the potion's working so well, and and he's kind of like, oh, that's fantastic, good for you. And it turned out she was obviously making her boyfriend jealous for whatever reason, and he, in confronting her about like why she's seeing all these men, she reveals that, Paul got this love potion and we were testing it out, and apparently, it makes people fall in love with you. She's, nerdy girl, doesn't think, and she tells him, and he freaking ends up going to the mystic, taking all the love potion, and pretty much drugging her into marrying him. For reasons, because he's just a jerk 90s boyfriend. And Paul, now having to be the hero in Hercules that he was, or I don't even know if Hercules came out after or before this movie, but being the hero that he needs to be now, he goes back to the mystic and he goes, look, I need something that will fix love potion number 8, because the girl that I think that I am actually in love with is going to marry, like, the biggest jerk of her life. And this asshole, so the mystic goes, all right, I will give you love potion number 9, which of course is the next number after 8, and of course what this hippie witch grandma, fairy god grandma would have again. And it's supposed to eradicate all love. If you take this potion, all love, if you and it has to be you and the person that you think you're in love with have to take this potion, and any love around that love will be destroyed except for true love. And it's kind of a risk, because it's like, so if she never loved him, they both have to drink the potion, and if she never loved him, she will never ever love him, and he will forever be in love with only her. So it's kind of a hard, it's a hard potion to drink, but he takes it, and he gets like one of her friends to like low key like spike her drink at the wedding, with her in the asshole, and then he drinks the drink, she drinks the drink, and then what do you know it? They're actually both in love. And it's kind of funny because it makes you think like, man, I hope she doesn't like not love anybody else, like her friends and family, but hey, at least she doesn't marry the asshole, and it ends on a good note. But yeah, like I said, this movie could never be done today, because if a woman had the power to make guys fall in love with her, man, they would pretty much just empty out the pockets, right? And if a guy had anything that would make any woman fall in love with him, most guys would definitely just sleep with everybody, right? Like, they would just sleep with every chick and be like, yeah, and have their side chick that they're like actually with, but like, then they're out like sleeping with everyone. Like, that's exactly how it would go down. They couldn't make this movie in 20.
Are you a boy kissy boy?
Excuse me?
A homosexual?
No.
I just wanted to put this out there for anyone who wants to find a fun, loving, romantic comedy to watch with your significant other that you are with and are actually invested in. They're not your side piece, they're not your side hoe or whatever it is, or your main subscriber, or whatever it is that you have in your life now that you want to say is a relationship. But nah, it needs to be a real one. Love is love, and love can find its way, when it's real, when it's authentic, when it's not always magical, but sometimes it can actually happen and be genuine, and that is just the beauty of this film, and, again, at the end of the day, men are the worst, but women are also the worst. So all you women trying to be men, you're just being worse than you already are. And all men being women, you're just kind of turning into you're just being an asshole. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. I mean, that's just my opinion. I'm not trying to be rude, because some of y'all, I guess, are what y'all are. But love potion number 9 would definitely ruin society. It would ruin society, because I don't know who's really in love with who anymore, but I can tell you one thing, it definitely probably doesn't go both ways.